What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another video. It's Monday, so we gotta do another mock draft Monday. First thing we're gonna do is the stat of the day, then some news, then the poll from last week, and then of course we'll do a mock draft. So, stat of the day yesterday was which wide receiver had the most fumbles in 2019. The answer was Diontae Johnson. I recorded these early though. I don't know who got it. I'm sure someone will. Today's stat: which running back had the best single week performance last season? I'm sure whoever answers this one first is going to get it. Not too difficult. For the news, nothing really happened. The Eagles signed Jason Peters, and I say nothing happened. Nothing happened for fantasy relevance, things that are actually matter for us. Eagles signed Peters. This is why we didn't overreact to the Brooks injury. Miles Sanders is going to be fine. Like, we're not having any issues. We were never that concerned. We figured this would happen, but even if it didn't, he was still going to be fantastic. And then Kelvin Harmon, he tore his ACL. That's not like that much of a boost to McLaurin. McLaurin was still going to be the guy in the offense, but it just secures his target share even more. McLaurin is going to be incredible, and he's an awesome pick. For the poll, last week we said, given that our wide receivers were Adams, Cooper, Diontae Johnson, Anthony Miller, and John Brown, would you rather also add Devontae Parker in there and have Daniel Jones as your quarterback, or add Ayuk but have Dak Prescott as your quarterback? 56% of you said you'd rather have Dak Prescott. That's what I did in the draft, and that's what I was leaning as well, so I think we got that one right. Still no clear indication on what you guys prefer. And I bet you if I did this poll again, so the Daniel Jones versus Metcalf, you guys actually picked Kyler Murray and John Ross. I don't agree with that, but I think if we did it again, you'd probably pick late. But again, I was hoping that we kind of find some like clear consensus on quarterback early, middle, late. It's still kind of mixed. You guys have picked early sometimes, you picked late, you picked middle, so guess we gotta still be going through that one. This week, full PPR, only gonna do 2 wide receiver spots. So last time we did 3 wide receiver spots. This time we're doing 2. So there's a little bit more emphasis on running backs. 10-team league, because we've been doing 12 a ton. We'll go back to 10. And we have not done 3. We're almost done doing 2 mock drafts from every single spot. So when you guys request spots, we've already done every single spot once, and we've almost done every single spot twice. We're doing 3 this time, and I believe we might have like 2 or 3 left. And then, of course, we'll just go right back through and do every spot 3 times. And I think the ranking set up like this is best. So from 3, we know we're getting one of McCaffrey, Barkley, or Zeke. We'll probably end up getting Zeke. Let's see what happens. So we want to pull it up and look like this. McCaffrey, Barkley, and next up is, of course, Zeke on our team. So no real discussion there. I know some people would favor Michael Thomas in a full PPR league, but not us. We are taking McCaffrey, Barkley, Zeke, Kamara, 1, 2, 3, 4 in any format. Unless it's some like weird format where you get like bonus points for different things, then, you know, I need to know exactly what it is. But in a format that is standard, half, or full PPR, those are your first 4 picks and all of them. So let's just see what went off the board. After us goes Kamara, then Michael Thomas, then Dalvin Cook, Kenyon Drake, Godwin, Adams, Henry. That rounds out the first 10. Then Mixon, Julio, DeAndre Hopkins, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Tyreek Hill, and Aaron Jones. So our options at running back with this pick, we can go with Nick Chubb, we can go with Josh Jacobs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then a drop. So one of those 3 is what we would prefer. For wide receiver, it would be Allen Robinson, Kenny Golladay, DJ Moore. Those are the guys we look at. Obviously, we're not going to go Moore here because we're pretty sure he's going to be there at the next pick. I would go Allen Robinson, of course, because that's who I have ranked the highest. So really the decision is Allen Robinson. We look over at quarterback. We've got Mahomes and Lamar. It's a 10-team league. So we lean a little bit more towards getting an elite quarterback because everyone's going to have a little bit better of an overall team. So we want that positional advantage. I have said that once you're in the 3rd round, I'm cool taking one of Mahomes and Lamar. And if we look at the draft board, there are only going to be 4 picks. After we take a player, there's 4. So if Lamar or Mahomes is there at the 303, I think we can take them. And I kind of want to see how the team turns out if we do. If this was my team, I do not think I would take one of them. I think I would make sure I got one of Allen Robinson or this Chubb, Jacobs, Clyde range, just because I do think there's a little bit of a drop off in both of those, and I don't need Mahomes and Lamar. Because as much as you say you want that positional advantage in a league like this, you also need to consider that there's only 10 teams. And this is a one quarterback league, so there's going to be even more quarterbacks available in the final round. So it is still fine to not target quarterback early. When you're in an 8-team league, then you just have to do it. You basically have no option. But a 10-team league, you're still fine. We also can consider Travis Kelce with this pick, and maybe that's more of a backup. So perhaps we get that positional advantage at tight end. We take probably running back with this pick, and then if Mahomes or Lamar is there at the next pick, we take them. But if not, I mean, the odds that they take Kelce, Mahomes, and Lamar with 3 of the next 4 is pretty low. So maybe we just grab positional advantage in the 3rd round. In the 2nd round, we still lock up a running back. So who do we take at this running back pick? I'm not against really any of them, if we're being honest. I'm going to take... I don't remember who I have between Jacobs and Chubb in a full PPR league. I would just default to whatever I have the rankings as, because that's what the research shows I've done. I don't even remember which one I have. Both of their reception totals are going to be pretty close to each other. So I have to think I have Chubb because his rushing yardage is expected to be higher. And if the receptions are close, then you'd think you'd go with Chubb. I'm going to do that. But I honestly have no problem if you went Chubb or Clyde with that pick. Where did tight end even go? Oh, there they are. Okay, so both of them go. We'll just pull up the draft board. Tight end just like disappeared on the screen, I swear. So, Robert Woods goes in the end of the 2nd round. Okay. We get Kelce and we get Kittle, both off the board. We do not see a quarterback get taken, so we have our option, and we see Jacobs go and then Robert Woods. So our option with this pick is we can take Allen Robinson in the 3rd round. That's a pretty good value. We can take Clyde, who I think is like the last person in this kind of 2nd tier after the elite guys. That's not a bad option as well. Or we take that positional advantage with taking one of Lamar or Mahomes. That's actually a difficult decision, and I think this is going to be our decision point on this week's mock draft. So I need to narrow it down into 2, and then we'll see later on. So thinking about this, would I rather start out with Zeke, Chubb, and Clyde, and then at that point, I can pretty much just abandon running back. I can take a running back in the 4th, but I can just abandon it. I can go with some mid-round quarterbacks. I can take all these awesome mid-round wide receivers. I can take Allen Robinson, but honestly, with how it's kind of working out, I'm kind of okay just sticking with what I have and just taking the quarterback or Clyde. So I think that's what's going to come down to. Early quarterback and Clyde, or I guess Clyde and a late quarterback, or early quarterback and a late receiver. We'll kind of see if there's another decision point at some point in the draft that we can compare this to. So I am going to take quarterback. I am going to take Lamar. I do think Lamar is the top quarterback over Mahomes. You could definitely make the argument that it is Mahomes at this pick, but I'm just going to take that weekly floor of the rushing upside for Lamar ahead of Mahomes. Again, it's honestly flip-flop. Like, you can do whatever you want with that pick. I'm going to take Lamar, and we'll see how the team turns out with that decision. So we've got our quarterback. We see 2 tight ends taken. We see Ertz and Evan Ingram. Like I said, we see Mahomes go. For running backs, we see Fournette, Clyde, Melvin Gordon, and Chris Carson go. And then for wide receivers, we see Evans, Robinson, Juju, Galladay, Moore, that's unfortunate, Odell, and Kupp. So a lot of wide receivers get taken. On the board now, for running back, we can take Gurley, we can take James Conner, Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery. For wide receivers, we can take Thielen, Cooper, Ridley. All right. There's some really good options. Of this range, I do think we go with wide receiver. We see a little bit of a drop. I kind of want to take two of these guys because I know with this pick, we've got the 4, but then after this, there's going to be a lot of picks that go. And I kind of want to lock in 2 wide receivers here. So I am going to hold off on running back. I feel confident about our running backs. I don't know who. So I don't think Ridley will go at this pick. I think he's far enough back that they won't take him. So between Cooper and Thielen, I do have Cooper higher, but I already have Zeke. And I would prefer not to take Zeke and Cooper. So I'm going to go with Thielen, and especially in this 10-team league, I just want to make sure, they don't take Cooper. That's unfortunate. But in this league, I want to make sure that I'm getting points every week, right? I'm already locked in with quarterback. I'm locked in with running backs I like. I don't really want to take a chance at wide receiver. I'm just going to take a guy I know is going to be good. And I'm pretty sure that Adam Thielen is going to be good, right? I mean, who else are they going to throw to? So he's a very, very safe pick. I feel very good about that one. I really would have liked to get Calvin Ridley with this one. But I do think Amari Cooper is too much of a value at this point. Like, I'm not saying you got to just avoid taking Cooper and Zeke. So that means you have to go with like McLaurin here. I think that would be a little bit dumb. Cooper, here's the thing. The Cowboys are going to be probably the best offense in football. They're at least going to be top 3. So if you're going to take 2 players on a team, it's the Cowboys. Like, they're going to score so many points. They're going to have so many yards. It's fine to take both of these guys. I guess you could consider taking Gurley with that 3rd running back, but I honestly think Cooper is just too much of a value that you have to do him at this point. So I like the start that we have. We'll pull up our team here. We're locked in for 2 elite running backs and 2 pretty elite wide receivers. Zeke and Chubb, and then Thielen and Cooper, and we've got our quarterback. So we could look tight end. I did see tight ends kind of got taken. Yeah, we're not taking a tight end at this point. You got Higbee, Hurst, Hooper, Gronk, Gesicki, Fant, Hawkinson, Jonnu, Jarwin, Ian Thomas, Herndon. There's just so many that are, I'm not going to say all those guys I just named are similar, but they're all very close to where we're going to hold off. We could just go full-on Cowboys stack and take Dak here, but that's probably a little bit too much. We already took a quarterback, so we didn't do that. Thank goodness. We took a quarterback, so we're going really no lean running back or wide receiver with this pick, but it is going to be running back or wide receiver. So our options, we take David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift. That's probably only the 2 I'd be looking at this pick. Might hold off on that. At wide receiver, we could do Keenan Allen, Chark, Parker. That's probably it. Diggs, I guess you consider. But those are probably the only ones we're considering. And I do believe that Chark is the best pick out of them. Remember I did the video about, that would be yesterday, right? So for me, they're both being recorded today. I did the video on Sunday about the negatives for every player, and I tried to think about negatives with DJ Chark, and it's like impossible. I mean, he's just a good pick. He's gonna be great this season. He's a great talent. He's gonna be good. So I like getting him as my 3. And honestly, we can consider taking Allen here and doing something that we haven't done too much, but is a viable build. So there's a build this year where you take a top 3 pick. So let's say you've got one of McCaffrey, Barkley, and Zeke. You're locked into running back. Like, these guys are not going to bust unless they get injured. And especially if you take a running back with the next pick, you lock in another elite back, why not just grab everything else? Grab your quarterback, grab a bunch of wide receivers, be good at those positions, because you're pretty sure you're good at running back. And if you're good at running back, and you're good at quarterback, and you're good at wide receiver, like, you're just good everywhere, that's a really nice build. I wouldn't do it as much if I had like a late first round pick and I got Say it started off, none of these teams really have it great, but I guess if you started off Henry Mixon, right, that team, I'd probably prefer to get another running back because maybe Henry isn't as good in the touchdown department, doesn't have receptions last year. Maybe Joe Mixon doesn't take that step forward. There's all these like things that could happen. But Zeke's locked in. I know Zeke's going to be a top 5 running back, and I can't say the same about his. So maybe I'd want to go Clyde like he did and then take some wide receivers. But with what I did, why can't we just hammer wide receiver, make sure we're good there, we made sure we're good at quarterback, and just make sure you're good everywhere else? It's kind of what I did in the Scott Fish Bowl. I basically took 4 running backs in I think like the first 5 rounds, and then I just hammered wide receiver with I think I took 8 wide receivers in like 9 rounds. It was nuts. I took my tight ends, took my quarterbacks, but then just hammered out wide receiver, and that's a good strategy because you find a position you're weak at, and then you just crush it until you're strong at that position. Good strategy in my opinion. So we bring up the cheat sheet, and I say this because I don't really care which running back I get. I'm not going to lie. I'm not just like over the moon about taking Montgomery or Swift here. So why not grab Keenan Allen, grab another player that was being undervalued. They say I got a steal, very nice. Grab another player like that and just pretty much secure my wide receivers. Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, DJ Chark, Keenan Allen. I'm good. I'm good at wide receiver. And this is the part where wide receiver does start to fall off. We grab that value in the middle rounds. And we're good with Zeke and Chubb, and we're good with Lamar. So I like the team right now. We got to look back at running back. And with this pick, we're looking for upside. We're looking for a player who could be bad, but we don't care because we're not starting them at the beginning of the season, right? We're starting Zeke and Chubb, and we're starting the wide receiver in the flex. So this is the player that we're comfortable just having on the bench and waiting and seeing what happens. That is not James White. That is not Cohen. That's Geis. That's Vaughn, Ronald Jones. It's Dobbins. It's those types of players. For me, I think it's definitely between Geis and Vaughn. I honestly think that they're very, very similar. Geis is probably the one that I lean, and I'm just going to hope Vaughn's there. Yeah. I'll hope Vaughn's there. Yeah, he is. Okay. So we'll take Vaughn. Just take both those guys. I didn't even look at the other positions. I wanted to make sure we got 2 of these guys. Vaughn at least has that question mark of he's older than Jones, and I know that doesn't matter a whole lot, but when you're older than someone and they're in their 3rd season, I don't know. He's already been on the team for 2 years. I understand he's bad in pass protection, but it's not like Vaughn actually has a ton of time to learn the pass protection, given that, it's like July and they haven't even been starting things. I think on Monday is when rookies are supposed to report on a few teams, but then they haven't even ironed out all those details. So rookies are at a disadvantage, and when Jones already had 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns last year, why do we think it's just locked in that Vaughn's going to be the guy? It's not locked in. So I'm cool taking Vaughn, but we need to remember that he's not just locked into the role. But like I said, what were we looking for in this pick? With this pick, we were making sure that we didn't have a guy who was locked into a very small role throughout the whole season. We're looking for a guy who it's all right, he's my wide receiver 4. He's on my bench. If he ends up being good, I don't even need to start him until probably the first bye week or the first injury to Geis, but I don't need to start this guy, but he could be good. And if you're taking James White and Cohen with that pick, it's well, yeah, I know they're going to have a role early in the season, but their role is just pass catching, and it's just not a high upside role. So those type of players I would take with that. Let's pull up our team from this side view, though. Looks like that. Okay, so our starting roster right now: Lamar Jackson, Ezekiel Elliott, Nick Chubb, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, DJ Chark, with a bench of Keenan Allen, Geis, and Vaughn. We've got, 3 bench spots? 4 bench spots left, a tight end, and then defense in the final round. So pull up the cheat sheet here. We don't need to lean either position because we have, 4 and 4, right? We have 4 running backs. We have 4 wide receivers. Don't need to lean on those. We can look at tight end. So I don't think a single tight end has gone. We could consider Higbee, but I think I have Hurst. I think I have Hurst ranked ahead of Higbee anyways, and I still don't really care all that much. So it's not a bad idea to kind of maybe take 1 and 1. Maybe we lock in Pollard as a handcuff. We're in the 10th round. It's not great to take the handcuff here, but we're effectively with our 11th round pick. I would love to get Julian Edelman though. I would risk it. If this was my league, I would risk taking Edelman here. The off chance Pollard gets taken, I'm cool with that. I want to grab Edelman, and then you want to handcuff Zeke with Pollard. Some people pointed out I did not do that in the Scott Fish Bowl. I took Zeke, I think like the 5th pick, and I did not take Pollard. That's because you have to get first place out of 1,440 people. So handcuffing everyone isn't like the best strategy because you just need your team to be really good to get first out of that many people. We only need to be first out of 10 people here. So if Zeke gets hurt and I have Pollard, I can still win the league. If Zeke gets hurt and I have Pollard in the Scott Fish Bowl, it definitely hurts because other people, because you're playing so many other leagues, other people didn't draft Zeke, their first round pick hit, and they had Tony Pollard. So now they're way ahead of me. See how that kind of works? So you need your late round picks to work out in a league like that. Whereas in this one, well, no one else took Pollard because I took him. So hope that makes sense to everyone. Pull up the team. So same starting roster, but now we have added Julian Edelman. I really like that pick. Edelman's going to be good this season. He's going to have a ton of receptions. He's definitely being undervalued now. With Stidham, wasn't. With Cam Newton, now he's being undervalued. And then Tony Pollard, I like grabbing as the handcuff. We don't have anyone else that we'd be handcuffing, so we don't need to consider that. We can probably split again, take another high upside wide receiver, take a high upside running back at tight end. Let's see. So I probably would have considered Hurst here in the 12th round, but he's gone. So we'll probably just wait again. Really want Gesicki, really want Hawkinson and Jonnu Smith, but I don't think we need to take them in the 12th. So if we look at wide receivers and running backs, we want Zach Moss, we want Boston Scott, we want Chase Edmonds, and wide receiver, we want Anthony Miller. We would want CeeDee Lamb, but not that we have 2 Cowboys already. I think there actually is a drop. So we're going to take Anthony Miller here, and then we'll see. Oh, Moss gets taken. Come on. So Moss gets taken. If we're looking for upside, technically, Chase Edmonds has more upside than Boston Scott. I've mentioned this a few times. I like Scott as a handcuff. If you have Miles Sanders and he misses like 2 weeks due to like an ankle sprain, they're probably going to feature Scott. But if Miles Sanders tears his ACL, they're not going to feature Scott. They're going to bring someone in and keep Scott in his role. If Drake tore his ACL, then they're going with Edmonds, right? Like they're definitely just shifting a ton of workload. Maybe they bring in Eno like to work a little bit more, but they like using the guys that they have. And just what do we see last season? David Johnson gets hurt, they bring in Edmonds. Edmonds gets hurt, they bring in Drake. Like they're cool just being like, oh, someone's hurt, feature this dude. And Edmonds has already been good in the featured role, so why can't he be again this season? I was considering maybe taking the tight end at that spot, but again, there's just I don't care. I don't care which one of them I get, and someone's going to be there. So we'll see who's left. It's Hawkinson this time. Again, even if Hawkinson was gone, there are guys that I would be fine with. I mean, I'd probably be fine with Herndon if you really needed him. But I do obviously prefer Hawkinson with this pick, so we'll take him. And then I think we're only at defense, right? I believe our team is filled. Wonderful. Our team is filled. We want the Chargers. We want the Bucks. I need to get a third team, though. So where's... Jeez. I don't know what this place is doing with having the Chargers down there. Is there actually... Okay. Well, I mean, you would take the Steelers, right? Yeah. So I only say Chargers ahead of other teams because usually you're not drafting against the computer. The computer knows there's no point in taking a defense until the final round. Like, they understand that. When you're playing against people, they're going to be taking them in like the 11th, the 12th, the 13th round. So you're going to get even better value than I got in the later rounds because people are being pushed down the draft. So you're not going to get the Steelers in the final round. I bring up Chargers and Bucks because these are two defenses that are going to be good and they're available in the final round. So, well, sometimes. You never really know. So here's the roster. We've got Lamar Jackson, Zeke, Nick Chubb, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, TJ Hawkinson, DJ Chark, and the Steelers. And then for the bench, we've got Keenan Allen, Darius Geis, Keyshawn Vaughn, Edelman, Tony Pollard as a handcuff, and then Anthony Miller and Chase Edmonds. I do feel that that is a very good team, and I honestly don't feel like we lacked any position by taking quarterback early. So we're going to look back here so we can do the poll. We took a quarterback in the 3rd round, and I would have probably taken Josh Jacobs. So Lamar Jackson, and then I guess I would say, where would have I actually taken? It would have been late because I wouldn't have considered anyone at this Geis Vaughn pick because the quarterbacks weren't people I consider. Let's say I wouldn't have taken Daniel Jones that early. It would have to be this round. So would you rather have, it would have been Stafford who I would have taken. Stafford and Josh Jacobs or Lamar Jackson and Tony Pollard. You can consider that I took Zeke, but I would prefer that you didn't, to be completely honest. So throw Zeke out. So pretend that I took like Barkley at the first pick and that this isn't a handcuff. Getting someone of Ezekiel or of Tony Pollard's caliber, like a player like that, plus Lamar Jackson or Matthew Stafford and Josh Jacobs. That's what I want you to compare, and that's what I'll compare on Twitter as well. So make sure you follow me on Twitter so you can be part of the voting. So that's the end of this one. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, how about hitting that like button, and how about subscribing to the channel if you're new? Thanks for watching.